how did this project begin for you?
This project began towards the end of 2019 into 2020. I went through this really brutal year where I had 3 people close to me die. So death was really on the brain, and during COVID, it was an extra weird time to have someone die because you couldn't have a funeral or like do anything normal that you do after someone passes. Um, but the biggest, like, strangest feeling towards it was one of my friend Alden passed. He was 20 something. My friend Jomar passed. He was 40 something. And then my grandfather was like actively dying at 88. And when you die at 88, it's very different than when you die by surprise at 20 something or 40 something. And so I was thinking about this idea that, like, you can know someone's going to die for a long time and it's not actually any easier. And this idea of being ready versus being prepared.
Okay, and making this film, did you feel like it helped you through the grief process?
Um, I don't know if it helped. It was part of it though. I think it helped. It definitely helped me organize my feelings a little bit. I don't know. I don't know as though I don't think readiness. I think readiness is a concept, and people think I'm gonna like jump into a big academic thought when I say that. I'm like, no, it's really quite that simple. If you're gonna wait to get ready, you're never gonna be ready. You just have to do things.
And how long did it take you to make this?
To shoot it or like
The whole thing.
the whole thing.
Writing to the final product.
It was about a year of writing, and then it was about a year of kind of sitting on it and like stepping away from having everyone have just died. And then we shot it in 4 days over Labor Day weekend of 2023. And then I took a few months off between having shot it and then editing it because I was heavily involved in the editing process, and I knew I needed like space. If you're going to be super heavily involved, you need to like let it breathe.
Mm-hmm. And how do you handle spending that much time constantly in the subject of grief?
I think having good. I think it would probably look different for everyone, but I think being like very honest when it's like when you get to a point where it's like, okay, am I being like vaguely procrastinating, like vaguely lazy about this, or do I actually like need to walk away and like go take a walk? And or it's like I feel like it's very easy to be like, oh, I have writer's block, or oh, I'm stuck on the edit and I don't want to push through it. And it's exponentially harder when the topic is super heavy. So I think I was just taking a lot of walks. 'Cause it's like, okay, I can go walk around the block, maybe go get an iced beverage, come back. Like,
Okay. Pivoting to a lighter question here. Killer pink bathroom, bird clock, the saltines can. Was this part of your set design, or was this all part of the location?
a little bit of both. So this was shot in my grandmother's house, so it was a location I was very familiar with. And I knew there used to be, or in the final like script, that got torn apart and shooting in the edit. There was a way heavier bird motif, and then we ended up just with the bird clock. But I knew the bird clock had to be in there because it's like integral to the location. Like the bird clock will sing a stupid bird song at the most inopportune time, like having a family argument or like someone's
Mm-hmm.
So that's like it's been a source of comic relief and joy in the house. So I knew it had to be there if we were going to use the house at all.
Okay, and then on birds, how did you, pun intended, land on a bird metaphor?
I think it sort of naturally made sense with like I've always liked the word fledged. I feel like that's a word that I think I like when words sound like what they mean. Like fledged feels very finite. I don't know. It's kind of it's like got a lot of consonants in it for a word that's not super crunchy. Weird. But I think sorry, that was like a weird tangent. Basically I think birds make the most sense for the death metaphor. It's like, oh, the chicken or the egg. It's like that's a much lighter version of talking about death and birth. And I've always liked the idea that like nature is super ugly, and I'm really drawn to work that kind of toes a line between warmth and grotesque, both visually and I guess tonally. And I think like an ugly little bird that's not ready to fly yet is kind of embodies that for me.
Okay, and between these two characters and the way that they maneuver, do you identify with one of them more, or are they the same person in one?
I think of them as two. So anyone who knows me is like, oh, Chloe's speaking through Eli, obviously. But I do think I, as like an oldest sibling, have like a lot of Curtis in me when it's like game time. It's like when you need to be a hard ass and you need to just get it done. I think of that as like a different stage of dealing with something that's still part of like within me. I don't think of either of them as like separate to my personal experience.
Okay. And what did you learn through the process of making this film?
Oh my gosh, so much. Probably the biggest takeaway was editing. I don't like to touch the computer. I am a pre-production person. I'm a writer and I like visual artist first. So I learned a lot about editing when I did the first pass of my edit.
That's great. And I actually want to end this with a question that you asked a different filmmaker.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And it is.
I hope that means it was a good question.
It is. It was a very good question. What did you say? You said like, there's the film you write, there's the film you shoot, the one you edit. Which one is this?
Oh, yeah, okay. So this is based off I don't know if any of you are familiar with this concept of there's 4 movies. Any movie exists in 4 movies. It's the movie that lives in your head when you think of this idea, and then the movie that you write that lives in the script, the movie that you shoot, which lives in the camera, and then the movie that you actually end up with after the cut is done. This film, I think, was really shook out in the actual performance. The script was almost 12 pages long, and what we actually ended up with once the edit was finalized was like maybe 7. There's a lot of, most of the like coverage is like oneers. It's like we got it in one, and then both of my actors are theater people, so I feel like I tried to keep the camera and like stop starting as little disruption as possible. They would like really kind of pick up velocity, and so we just had to let them run with it.
That's great. I will open it up now. If there are any questions from the audience. One question? There you go.
Sure. It plays out in long takes, and you said you have theater people, they can do that if you want, right? And you take was your conscious choice to keep the camera with it very simple to let that story come out?
Yes. I knew it was going to be shot on sticks, I think, the entire time. I think from the initial, when I write, I do a lot of storyboarding, and I'll draw really tiny keyframes like on the sides of my script drafts. And I always knew it was going to be stagnant because I knew I wanted it to feel claustrophobic, and I knew I wanted Eli to be like running around the house, like trying to fill space. Because that's a feeling I think that comes up a lot when I'm grieving. It's like you feel like weird in your own body. You're like there's like the elephant in the room, and you're trying to take up space in the room, but it's not helping. So she's moving around a lot in frame.
Any more questions? All right. Well, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Thank you.